Welcome to the podcast
of Andy
and Marty.
Woohoo! We out here. Episode 3.
Episode 3.
It's exciting.
Can't believe we're already on episode 3. That's kind of wild. Honestly.
I mean, it's, 3.
You're like, you see, after 2 is 3.
Exactly.
So it's a natural progression.
Exactly.
It makes sense that we're on 3 now because we just did 2.
Exactly.
That's true. That's
and
a good
4
point.
is next.
Right. No. I'm just kidding.
I was like,
I'm about to gaslight you. I'm like, what's 4? What do you mean 4?
No, girl.
You mean 7?
I've been gaslit too much.
Oh
in this
God,
life.
not well. This episode's not going to get dark like that. It's actually going to be a very chipper episode.
Yeah, this is like about what we do to be zen, essentially.
Yeah, today we want to talk to you guys about basically things that we like to do to raise our vibration during our days, during our weeks. Our kind of favorite go-to things that just put us in a better mood, help us stay aligned on that spiritual path, and also just get us closer to that state of enlightenment, like you said, that kind of state of zen. We have lots of good, I think, things that we've acquired over the years and different things that we've tried, so we're about to share with you guys all that insider information. Okay, so get ready, get out that notebook, take some notes. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that we are both 27 and that we've both lived, obviously we're not elders or anything, but I mean, in the grand scheme, I mean, it is a few years of experience of dealing with this.
You're like, look, I've seen everything there is to see, and let me tell you, I'm the premier voice on all of this.
Absolutely not, okay? But the bottom line is that we have been through a lot of things, especially, like things together and like similar experiences.
Yeah.
And we have some tips and tricks on just how to stay calm and how to stay in a positive mood and just how to get through your day, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, even beyond that, like, I think that it's how to improve your whole quality of life, really. It's not just, some of these things at first will probably kind of be like that of how to get through your day, but eventually you're going to realize, like, you're actually experiencing a lot of expansiveness, a lot of growth, personally, mentally, spiritually, even physically too. And so this is something that has been, really important for us getting to the point where we are now, all of these little practices. And if we weren't doing this, we would be completely different people. I mean, it truly changes who you are, I feel like, for sure, 100%. I mean, you will notice that initial improvement in your daily life for sure, and just your overall mindset, but it's so much bigger than that, and that's what's so beautiful, and I think that's why we want to share it with you guys, obviously.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
As Swedish people say, absolute.
Absolute.
Precis.
Absolute.
Okay, that sounds like Italian.
That's what I was about to say. I'm making it sound Italian now. It's in fact Swedish. That being said, yeah, I guess let's just dive in. Let's get to it. Let's get to the vegan meat of it. So, do you want to start or should I start?
Go ahead, Marty. Go ahead.
Okay.
Have the honors.
Okay. I guess one thing I want to start with then, one of the things that I do to raise my vibration, a thing that I think we've been doing for a while now, and I know you did this as well, is using frequencies. Sound healing, solfeggio frequencies. Basically, what this is essentially it's a form of, I guess you could say, like sound healing is kind of how you could categorize it as. But essentially what it is just different frequencies of sound. So different pitches, basically, of sound. Specifically, it's like, there's a whole range. The solfeggio frequencies, I think, is what, 10? 10 different tones? I think it's about 10 to 12, something like that. But it's a whole range of tones that have different uses as far as what it does for you, like mentally, the states that it kind of induces. There's pain relief frequencies. There's different things, right? And I've actually looked into a lot of the studies behind this, and it's basically subtle vibrations, right? It's actually a whole field in the medical field of like the use of subtle vibrations, right? It's like using these energies to induce physical reactions. And I think that for a lot of people, I've introduced it to people in the past, and they can be kind of hesitant at first because it's just kind of like, well, sounds really just like a random pitch that doesn't really sound like it would do much. But there's been so much research done on how powerful this is, and actually sound healing has been used since the very ancient times. Actually, the ancient Egyptians had many pyramids that were theorized to be used specifically for sound healing. I know, little Opie the
The
Chihuahua in the background. He's getting
digging his
himself
hole-
comfortable
his hole.
on the bed. Yes, he's a little scratching around.
No, but this student actually the other day they did a science fair project on the different waves that you can listen to when you're studying, and how it's proven that studying with some of these waves in the background helps you memorize, helps you focus,
Yeah.
helps you perform better on tests, things like that. So
Yeah,
it's definitely
makes
useful
sense.
for a wide range of things.
100%. I think that one of the main things that I would recommend it for you guys for, just kind of getting introduced to it, is definitely if you're just feeling anxious, for sure it helps with anxiety. And also, I mean, really any kind of like, I guess, lower vibrational feeling, right? Even like feelings of like sadness or like depression or even feelings of disassociation, not being able to concentrate. There's so many uses, and you can actually look it up by usage as well. Like if you're looking for something in particular, there's even certain frequencies that are said to like, attract certain things to you, like
Attract love,
wealth. Yeah,
money.
exactly.
Yeah.
All sorts of things. So, yeah, I mean, I can personally tell you that I have had many people come to me after telling them about this, told them just give it a try, just try it out. And, now these people use them like religiously. I've had so many people tell me, wow, I was shocked how much it actually does help. It's just subtle energies, guys. We're just energies, and sound is also just energy, just the same as we are. And so, of course, it has an effect on us, and it can be a very, very powerful tool. So that's definitely a big thing. Also, want to say that it's very useful for meditation as well, and that is something that majorly helps me when I meditate. If I typically don't want to meditate without anything in the background, so sound healing is perfect because you can still kind of go on your own inner journey if you don't want to do a guided meditation. But having those frequencies, having the solfeggio frequencies in the background, it really helps you to align. And it just feels so nice, even just to sleep to also, to fall asleep to listen to while you're sleeping. I mean, the uses are endless, to be honest.
Yeah, I play them. I don't play them as much as I used to. I used to play frequencies a lot more, but I definitely still play them, and I'll play them to, like, for example, clear a space, or just like make me feel like this is doing something to the environment. This is purifying the air.
Oh
or
yeah,
something
sure.
along those lines. That's what I still use them for.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what do you want to share for your first one that you like to do?
Well, I will share affirmations. So I start my morning with affirmations, and affirmations are essentially you just listening to somebody basically say things over and over again. Some of them say the exact same thing. Some of them say like variations of similar topics. Like, for instance, there's affirmations to attract love. There's affirmations to attract wealth. There's affirmations to just have a good day. There's affirmations for confidence. Essentially, I just kind of switch between of whatever I'm feeling I need that day. And lately, every morning, I've been starting with this one that's like affirmations to have a good day, to be positive. And it's funny, like my dad makes fun of me because every morning I listen to them and they say things like, I am amazing. I am awesome. I am energetic. I am zestful. And essentially I put that on while I'm taking a shower or while I'm doing my yoga. And I really do feel like they really do help me. I think it's like a really good way for me to not let my mind go to places that I don't necessarily want my mind to go. I think that I can honestly speak for myself that I definitely have like certain thinking patterns that if I allow myself to like go there, especially first thing in the morning, if I allow myself to start thinking along like, about like a stressful situation or about something in the past or something I have no control over, then that tends to take up a large space in my brain.
Intrusive thoughts.
Yeah, intrusive thoughts. And so that tends to take up a large space in my brain, and I feel like this is my way where I basically ensure that my thoughts for the first 10-15 minutes of my day are going to be very positive, like overtly positive, you know? And so it's like, I feel like that really sets the tone for the rest of my day. And if I don't want to listen to somebody, then I will listen to something like frequencies or some sort of positive sound for the first, couple of minutes or hour of my day.
Right. And I kind of want to piggyback on that actually of affirmations because we were kind of talking about this the other day when we kind of talked about this, or we're talking about affirmations. But for me, I've realized that something I really like, I do occasionally put on just regular, affirmations on Spotify or YouTube or whatever, just put them on in the background. But I have found that for me personally, what's a real game changer for me with affirmations is doing them myself. So instead of just listening to somebody, I think that I'm definitely a very verbal person, like it helps me to speak things. And I really, really feel like it's more ingrained in me personally if I'm speaking them aloud. And so oftentimes I feel like if I'm just the same thing, right? If I start feeling myself having kind of intrusive thoughts or negative thoughts, especially about something particular, right? Like let's just say I'm like stressed about money or something, or I just spent a bunch of money on something, or I have to buy a big purchase or whatever, right? In my mind, when I start thinking negative thoughts about that, I literally pick an affirmation in my mind that's what I want, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I have so much abundance, I easily attract money, I never have to worry about where my money is going to come from, it flows to me easily, effortlessly, and constantly, right? And I'll just keep saying like, money is abundant, money is abundant, money is abundant, I always have access to money, I never have to stress about money. And it's literally like, sometimes just in my own mind, right? It's like, I make that the intrusive thought. Like, I will force that narrative in my mind over and over and over and over until it never takes long, right? Maybe a minute or so even, to where that becomes the dominant thought. And I'm like, yes, exactly. I'm realigned. I'm recalibrated.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm out of that thought pattern. And sometimes I say them aloud as well. And what's funny, actually, what I've recently started doing that I would highly recommend to you guys because this felt so good. I started doing those affirmations in my mind like that when I was working out. Okay? And it's like you already kind of have that adrenaline, you have that kind of energy pumping through you, obviously, when you're working out. But when I was doing the affirmations in my mind while I was working out, I felt like I could go like 3 times harder. Like it made me want to push myself even more.
Oh yeah, there are affirmations for working out.
But the thing is, I would rather be listening to my own music and then have affirmations in my mind. That's the perfect combo for me. Because you know what I think my issue, not really issue, but just the thing that makes me not gravitate towards like the audio affirmations as much is that I think that sometimes, it's definitely getting in the subconscious, right? I'm still hearing it. It's still good. It's 100% good. And a lot of times I still do fall asleep to affirmations, but I've just found that to listen to them while I'm just, in my day-to-day, I just feel like I get bored with it. Not gonna lie, I've kind of started wondering if I'm like ADHD because it's hard for me to focus on one thing for a long time. And so I feel like I just get bored listening to affirmations because so many times it's like the same tone of voice over and over and you're not really feeling it as much. Definitely would work for a lot of people, obviously. And I'm not saying I feel like what I want to say really is that there's so many ways that you can use affirmations for your benefit and that you should explore what works best for you because odds are you will find some kind of way where you can use affirmations to really impact your life. We talked last episode about writing it like in a journal, right? Like same thing, like scripting your affirmations, writing your affirmations. That can be a powerful way as well.
I think that for me, like the listening to the affirmations I listen to, it's more like how I said to really just kickstart my brain to be more positive right when I am first starting to think that day. And then, yeah, of course, like if it honestly, it starts going on repeat. Sometimes I will let it play twice and it's about 10 minutes each small segment and I'll let it play twice and then I'm like, that's it. Like that, I cannot listen to any more of the same thing. It does start getting redundant to me.
Kind of monotonous.
Yeah, and also I do get I guess I can feel like I'm done. Like I feel like I'm like this is enough.
Right.
And then later on, like throughout my day, like for instance today I listened to this 30-minute affirmations from Louise Hay, one of her audiobooks. And it was they're very different. It's not saying the same thing over and over. Yeah. It's not saying the same exact phrases and the same exact. It's saying very complex sentences.
Like more engaging.
Yeah, and
it kind of forces you to pay attention more than just like I am rich.
Absolutely, yes.
I am abundant.
Absolutely,
and
it was
some of them are.
Yes, and it was funny because I actually was trying to relax and I was trying to zone out, but I couldn't. Like I was like I was listening so intently to what she was saying. And so 25 minutes in, I was like, okay, I have to actually just be in
stop
silence.
this. Oh,
Because I'm
That's how I
actually
feel
giving this my
sometimes too,
full
actually.
attention.
Yeah, I feel like that's why I actually have stopped kind of falling asleep to affirmations as much and just started using frequencies like the subliminals, because I just get distracted. Like, I actually start listening to them. But I think that actually leads into really well into the next one that I would want to bring up, which is listening to. I mean, it kind of reminds me, like when you said that, of Deepak Chopra, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is for sure something so huge that cannot be overlooked that we have started doing, which is basically just listening to, like, I guess you could say, like, spiritual teachers, high vibrational people, listening to the wisdom of other people. It's like, I guess maybe gurus is another way to put it. We're not tied to any particular religion, right? Like, we're personally just spiritual. So it's not religious at all, but there's just so many people who have taken, like, the ancient wisdom from all of these various religions or ancient, like, techniques or beliefs and transformed it into something that's very empowering and enables you to look at life and consciousness in a very beautiful way, right? And empower yourself and get in touch with your own divinity and your own connection to the grand, to everything, right? To everyone and the one. And for sure, I mean, I think that both of us, you could probably agree, Deepak Chopra is amazing. I could not recommend him more. I mean, to be completely honest, usually when somebody tells me if they're having, some kind of difficult time or they've been struggling or, anything really, the absolute first recommendation I'm going to give them is to start listening to Deepak Chopra.
Same.
I mean, 99% of the time, truly,
I recommended him to you. And the thing is that this guy, okay, first of all, for the people who have no clue who this guy is, his name is spelled Deepak.
We'll put it on the screen
Chopra,
so you guys can see it as well.
Chopra, Deepak Chopra.
Mm-hmm.
And this man is an Indian American man. He was once a doctor, like practicing medicine. He worked in a hospital, and essentially his father died, and then he went on a spiritual journey, wanted to know more about, life and death and things like this, and then that led him to now, and he's written over 100 books. He's like a New York Times best-selling author for, I think most of his books are New York Times best-selling books.
He's like Oprah like really helped him get a lot of exposure because he's like one of her spiritual gurus, and
he
she's
was
promoted
also on
so
the
many.
show a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's been in like her book club so many times. I mean, he has so many amazing books. Like Andrew just said, he has over 100 books that he's written. Okay, these are all kind of self-help books, I guess you could say, about different topics, right? With different kind of
focuses.
Yeah, focuses, exactly. Yeah. But what I would recommend starting with, which is kind of what we started with, is his albums. And they're on Spotify, they're on, all of the streaming platforms, they're also on YouTube as well. But essentially, he has different albums where he discusses different topics. And I'm telling you guys, I can listen to some of these albums 10 times, and that 11th time, I will still be listening to it and going, oh my gosh, this is so powerful. I mean, line after line, like, no one drops the bars like Deepak, truly. I mean, This man, wow. Mm-hmm. He just has a way with words, and he has a way with engaging you and explaining and discussing different topics of like the human existence, the human consciousness, the human experience, all the things that we face, and the energies that we come across, and kind of just helping you work through those and examine them and develop like a healthy relationship with the energies that you face, and come to that place of zen and enlightenment. And he is just incredible. I really cannot, praise him enough. And he has several different albums. My personal favorites, I don't know about you, but definitely the Soul of Healing Affirmations. That's the one that we really kind of first started to dive into. It's A to Z, so there's a song for each letter of a track, I guess is a more appropriate way of putting it, because it's not really songs, even though it does have audio background, but it's A to Z, and every letter is a different topic. So A is acceptance, B is bonding, C is compassion, L is love, F is fear, right? And so he discusses all of these different topics in each one of these tracks, and Oh my gosh, just that album alone really transformed the way that I look at life and the way I approach life. I'm telling you, just that album alone. But he has so many other amazing ones. I mean,
No, yeah. When I first discovered the A through Z affirmations, I think that I really attracted that album to myself because I was extremely overwhelmed at the time. I was extremely stressed. I didn't know what I was doing with my life. I didn't know who I really was. And when I started listening to this, the way that I would engage with it and like forced myself to really just listen to it was I started taking baths, and I would like stay in the bath for the entire track, for the entire album, and it's about like 50 minutes, 45 minutes, and I would like basically use that as my timer of like, okay, like this is the time that I'm giving myself, this is the time that I'm letting myself really, really absorb this information, and I would be in complete darkness or like with the candle, and I would listen to this, and this is what I've recommended to a lot of people as well. And I recommended it to Marissa and to the people in my life as soon as I found this, because I just thought to myself, everyone needs to hear this.
Yeah,
this is something that is just so beautiful,
it's
and
just
it has
human experience.
Yes.
You know, it's something that connects us all,
and it's made an extremely tremendous. Like, it's made a tremendous impact on my life and on the way I see things. And this person, like, we can talk more about the albums now, but, like, I listen to one of his albums at least every single night.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I switch between them, you know? I mean, there's so many guys, like, bangers, truly, absolute.
It's endless,
10 out of
endless
10
information.
Bangers. Like, wow. I mean, seriously, every single one of his albums, I can put them on repeat and just I'm struck by every single track. And it's also really nice because there is background tracks,
He
like
works
backing
with
music.
certain people, like certain musicians for every album.
And it's so calming, and it's so beautiful, and it's so zen, and it's
Adam
so
Plack.
comforting. It's just absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful words and beautiful music. You truly feel transformed after you listen to him.
And the guy that he makes the music with, that composes all the music, Adam Plack and Deepak Chopra, they're always my number 1 and number 2 artists on Spotify.
I made a freaking reel about that too. Same. Because, I mean, it's like, truly he is my number 1 artist. I mean, I binge him. I really binge him. I listen to him every single day.
Every day.
Like you said, right? Like, definitely recommend listening to it when you're about to go to bed, for sure. Also, when you're starting your day, when you're on your way to work, right? It just, it does that same thing, I think, is the affirmations, because
it does.
a lot of it is kind of almost like that, as like affirmations. Exactly. Exact soul feeling affirmations. Exactly.
Yeah.
It is affirmations, and that's why it reminded me when you were talking about the Louise Hay ones, because that's like a perfect example of how you can try out affirmations in a different format that's not so kind of like monotonous, you know. Highly recommend. Also, of course, his books, like we mentioned, he has over 100 books, and truly, I don't think you could pick a bad one, really. I mean, go to Barnes & Noble's, go to this self-transformation, I think it is, section. That's where he's at.
If you're into reading, get a Deepak Chopra book.
10 out of 10.
If you're not into reading, then listen to his albums.
Yeah, or both, or try both, you know. I just see how you feel. Go listen to him, see how you feel. You don't even have to commit to a book. You don't have to buy something. Just listen to him for a bit. You're gonna like it, and you're gonna end up wanting to get a book if you're into reading. But definitely, that was one of the biggest things I wanted to bring up, because that is absolutely huge and really helps, I think, with overall mindset. But that being said, maybe let's move on to the next thing. We can give him a couple more tips. So what would you like to
I think that one thing I also thought of was the fact that I make sure to spend some time outside every single day.
Very important.
I think that we all, as people who are working all the time, especially like here in America where we're like working like 40, 50 hours a week indoors, I think that it's like any time that you have the chance to go outside. Luckily, we live in one of like the sunniest cities in the world right now, and most days, even during the winter time, it's like with a jacket you can still be outside, and I go and I enjoy my lunch outside, and I think that that's like a ritual with myself that I've really maintained, and that I think that it's like my coworkers, like when we lived in New York, I remember they thought I was so weird, like they would literally think I was, I don't know, corny, dumb, I don't know, whatever, for just wanting to be in the sun, you know, even just for like 20-30 minutes. I think that it's like it really, really makes a difference. We're in front of LED lights or under LED lights. We're in front of a computer
It's the blue light all the time, and that's
Yeah.
the problem. Blue light is not really good for your brain.
No,
It's not good for your eyes. It's not good for your circadian rhythm.
And if you can be outside during the middle point of the day when you actually generate vitamin D with your skin, I think that that's definitely the key of like making sure that you are doing what you can to keep yourself in a positive state of mind throughout your day.
100%.
Yeah.
That's
Fresh air.
huge. That's
Fresh
huge.
air.
Just, I feel like try to spend, honestly, what I've been trying to do lately is start my day with direct sunlight, because I mean, I've seen that so many times. There's so many people that have told me about this, but it's huge. It's so important. It actually even like helps regulate your body properly. Like it can affect your hormones. It's serious. Like you really, really should do all you can. Try to get 10 minutes. If you can do that, go outside and be in direct sunlight for 10 minutes at the start of your day before you look at your phone, before you look at the blue light, right? Get the yellow light. You got to get the warm light. And just let your eyes be exposed to that, be in the direct sunlight, and that alone makes a big difference, and it makes you feel grounded and connected, right? And I even think that just beyond even just trying to do it every day, try to get out into nature more, because I think that so many people, I mean, you're never going out to nature, right? I mean, it's like, you know, you're walking in the grass in your backyard, you're, you know, there's some trees on your lawn or at your job or whatever, right? You have very, very minimal engagement with nature, and not really anything meaningful as in like actual nature, right? Like actual outdoors, mountains, or, you know, forests or
whatever
lakes
you have.
or rivers. Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, I would encourage you all definitely 100%. Try to push yourself, even if it's just once a month, you know, just dabble in it at first, to take a little bit of time, one day out of the month or whatever, one afternoon, to go out into somewhere that's beautiful. I guarantee you, no matter where you are, we're in the middle of the desert, okay? No matter where you are, you can find beautiful nature very close to you. Guaranteed.
No, yeah.
You can find something that would be worth visiting and worth spending some time in. And just that alone makes such a big difference. It helps you, like, you know, let go of a lot of stress, connect with the earth, connect with the nature again. You know, it's so important. And especially when it comes to, like, you know, raising your vibration, becoming enlightened. I mean, we are earthlings. We are on a planet. Nature is what's real. You know, I mean, all of this stuff that we have around us is not real. That's just man-made, right? It's made from the earth. At the core of it, we are connected to the earth. The earth is what gave us life, you know?
Me and her will make sure to go out, just even if we just sit in the middle of a mountain, we'll just literally sit there for, I don't know, we'll give ourselves 20, 30 minutes.
Do something, exactly. Just have a cute moment. I don't know, you know? I mean,
put the phone down, leave the phone in the car.
Chill. Like, just lie there and, like, look at the stars or do something, you know? Like, even if it's just that, go to a park and have a picnic. Like, go to a park and, like, you know, do something cute. Just push yourself. Try your best to make a conscious effort. Yes, exactly. And that's another thing, of course, is, like, earthing, which is, like, having your bare feet on the earth. It's actually extremely important because it has to do with, like, the exchange of electrons. Did you know that? Like, it's very scientific. Like, it's literally physics.
All of this is scientific.
Of, like, your magnetic field of your body and, like, your magnetic, like the charge of, like, the energies running through your body. Like, we are literally electric beings.
It's very easy to just think that this is just all, like, oh, you know, just drink water and go outside. And, like, you know, it just sounds like so, like, ha, ha, ha. But it's all backed by science. Everything we're saying is backed by science.
And
listening
also
to affirmations is backed by
thousands
science.
Of years, of course.
Yes,
you know?
Frequencies is backed by science. All of these things are backed by science,
right.
and we don't have to provide you sources and papers and research for us to be able to say this, because
and
it's
honestly,
just it is what it is.
That, I mean, you know, like, I obviously I love science. Science was a big reason that I even got involved in spirituality in the first place. Literally, that is what introduced me to spirituality, is, like, becoming really into physics. But at the same time, I don't honestly feel anymore like it needs to be accepted by mainstream science in order to be valid and in order for it to work.
But it is.
Because,
that's the thing, is that it is. Like, even if people don't want to make this connection, it already is.
Well, yeah, but this is the thing. Not everything is. There's many practices. There's many spiritual practices that are still regarded by science as like hoo-ha. And even if you told a lot of scientists about, like, let's just say sound frequencies, like, yes, there have been research, but it's still dismissed. It's still dismissed. Is your doctor ever going to tell you that? Is your even psychologist ever going to tell you that? Probably not. Probably not. It's not widely accepted. But that's, I guess, the point of, you have to take in mind that, of course, every single industry, every single profession is kind of, I guess, crafted in a way, engages with the public in a way that is often backed by specific narratives and specific objectives and specific agendas, right? It's specific agendas that these like professions have. I mean, like it's
No,
just...
I understand. It's like it's a reliance on medication. Yeah. It's a reliance on like the old methods and things like
and
this.
And it's not just that, of course. Like there's all sorts of things, right? It's like every profession really has their own agenda. And so it's like things like sound healing. How do you really even promote that? How can you exploit that? How can you make money off of that? Maybe selling like Tibetan singing bowls and things like that. But I mean, beyond that, you can go on YouTube and get that for free, and you're not going to build a $1 billion empire most likely off of that unless you're like a teacher or a coach or something.
You can't patent
that's
the
one
frequency.
thing, exactly. Yeah. But it's just a lot of these things. That's
I think
that's exactly what I think it is. That's what I'm getting at. Is it does not fit in the corporate structure, especially in the United States, and that's why it's not more widely discussed and not more widely recommended versus other things. It's not to say that it's not just as valid and not many times more effective than some of the things that are promoted and much healthier and provide much more expansiveness and growth for individuals. It's just that not all of these things necessarily fit in like the certain agendas that exist throughout the system. So I just think that's important to point out, is that if you even maybe, right, if you have a perspective where you find yourself thinking, is this really going to help? Is listening to frequencies really going to help me? Is this random dude really going to help me? Is going outside really going to help me? Well, why do you have that mindset? Maybe you have that kind of like hesitance because of the indoctrination from society kind of telling you that those things are not valid. But why? Yeah. But why, right? I think that it's like you have to kind of examine that further and say, why do I reject these things so quickly, right? Or why am I so hesitant to accept that these things could help me? Is it because I have this kind of like, wider conditioning from society that is telling me that this is not as productive, right?
I think that this is the last thing that we should say about this. I think that we can wrap this up.
Yeah.
But I really think that when you're talking about this, I think to myself, I was a skeptic, and I was a person at one point who did not think that these things could make an impact on me the way that they have. Mm-hmm. The thing is that it is consistency, and it's not going to be an instant fix. Going outside one time is not going to immediately make you feel like a completely different person.
I mean, we probably listened to those albums, like we said, right? It's like dozens and dozens of times.
Yeah,
exactly.
For 7 years I've listened to this guy. Right. And like how Marissa was saying earlier, we still hear something new every time, and it still impacts me every time I'm listening to it. And so it's a long and patient journey to embark on when you start thinking about all these concepts.
And I think that even that, I think, is important to consider, is like, don't judge yourself, right? On the journey to try to raise your vibration, a lot of it is the little things, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of it is your perspective. A lot of it is you choosing to have, a kinder perspective on yourself and on your situation, right? And a more optimistic perspective, and allowing yourself to change your thought patterns, right? Like you said, or like I have to force myself in affirmation sometimes, like whatever works for you. I do want to do kind of like a quick speed round. Maybe we can just go back and forth, just drop a couple random things, not go into any detail, but just like okay, for me, I'm like breathing exercises. Try breathing exercises. What would be another thing that you like? Without going into too much detail, but just some other little things we can throw out to them.
I would say like being in the dark as well, like being completely in the dark. I think that that's something that trips people out, that I do. That tripped out my family, that's for sure, of like taking baths in complete darkness. Cool. I think that that's something. Yeah, let your imagination run wild without any distractions.
Cool. I would also like to say any kind of honestly physical activity like yoga, stretching, Pilates, things that are more like calm, kind of like slower, that can be really powerful as well for helping you raise your vibration and kind of get more into your power. Do you have anything else you would like to add? I guess maybe like taking your baths, for example, or
yeah, take a bath, and also if you have a dog, walk your dog as often as possible. And if you don't have a dog, go on a walk. You know, put on a good podcast, put on Deepak Chopra, go on a walk. You know, do something where you're gonna be in motion. Your body's in motion. You're breathing. You're calm. You're in a state of, I don't know, gratitude, you know, in a state of like just appreciating things. Look at a tree, really think about how long did it take for this tree to grow, and just let your mind be grateful for things.
Like you said, that's a good point. Gratitude lists, right? Gratitude lists. Scripting, writing out what you want to experience, writing out how you want to feel as if you already have it, writing lists of things that you're grateful for. There's so many powerful ways. There really is so many different things. Of course, meditation.
Meditation.
As well as aromatherapy, right? Incense. I know, like that's why I feel like we need to kind of throw out a couple more, just, you know, without going into too much detail. I'm sure we can do episodes really on each of these things individually, but just to give you guys some tools of things you can think about. Of course, crystals, like I really enjoy crystals. I love crystals. For me personally, that's a big thing for me. Wearing them, using them, meditation.
Plants.
Exactly,
plants.
right. Using plants.
I have so many plants.
100%. Yeah, essential oil. I didn't really kind of finish saying that, but essential oil is huge. Yeah, I mean, I know there's just so many things that have kind of
and we can make episodes about each one of these
raising our
topics.
vibration. But I think those are big things, like aromatherapy, sound healing, meditation, getting outside, moving, training your mind, using affirmations, using things like, I think it's really like a big thing too, is just trying to limit your exposure to like harmful media and like things that are like promoting you to be more stressed or more upset. Like, you know, I love a really good entertaining show as much as anybody else, and you know, I like mysteries and stuff, and that doesn't really stress me out. Like I'm into that, but even then I try to limit all of my exposure to media that isn't like conducive to my growth, to like, you know, an hour a day, max 2 hours if you got a lot of time, right? Try to prioritize your time to things that actually will promote growth for you, right?
I think
wake up those 10 minutes early instead of binging the show the night before so that you can go outside and do, like, be in the sun, right? Or make time for the things that make you feel good.
The key is that we're always listening to things. We're always absorbing information. We're always listening to advertisements, and we're always listening to random things, random conversations with people around us. And the thing is that if you're not intentional about what you're putting in, if you're not intentional about what you're absorbing, then you're just going to be absorbing everything that you have no control over. And the thing is that I find, like for me, even now, like I cannot sit through normal television. I cannot sit through normal commercials anymore. I cannot listen to the radio anymore. There's this, like, it's almost like nails on a chalkboard to be hearing an advertisement for a medication, or to be hearing something that I just do not want to be hearing. I did not press play and intentionally put this on. And that's the thing, is that I think that it's like with all of what we're mentioning, it's about being intentional about what you're absorbing. It's about,
that's the biggest thing, I think.
It's about knowing
being
that
intentional in general. Being intentional with your time.
Yes.
It's not just being in patterns.
It's about knowing that you are trying to fill your brain with the things that are going to, how Marissa was saying, make you the best version of yourself, and really be conducive to your healing, to your life becoming better. You know, it's not going to make your life better to be watching, 30 minutes worth of commercials. It's not going to make your life better to be listening to things that are just going to stress you out, essentially.
Like, do things like, if you've been wanting to work towards a project, if you've been wanting to work towards a goal, you should, try to make time for that, because that alone is going to make you feel more high vibrational. That alone is going to make you feel better. And also maybe trying to find a creative outlet. If you don't already have something that you naturally kind of gravitate towards creatively, I guarantee you can find something that you will enjoy, and that as well can be very powerful for kind of transmuting energies that would normally just sit within us. That can be very powerful and transformative as well.
Okay. With that said, I think it's important to end this episode, because all of these things we can delve into infinitely, and we can keep going and keep going and keep going. And I think the key is that with every one of these things, we will probably make an episode somewhere down the line we're going to be doing this once a
And
week.
please let us know also in the comments if you're on YouTube, or you can always DM us on Instagram. I'll put our Instagrams in the bio as well as on the screen right now for you guys.
Or message us on TikTok.
Yes, yeah. Or
Wherever.
on TikTok as well. Yeah, exactly. Just if you have any suggestions or requests of like something you would specifically like us to dive into a little bit more, we'd be more than happy to take your requests. But yeah, I hope that this does help you all. I know that it will if you give just some of these at least a chance, or at least one of these, they will help you.
You give one of them a chance,
exactly.
it'll do something for you.
Exactly. So take it from us, like we've gone on the journey. We've done the hard work for you. We've tried many different things, and this is what works for us. So, yeah, I look forward to hearing your feedback and seeing how you guys feel. And please do give us feedback. Let us know if you listened to Deep October, if you tried the frequencies, whatever you did. Let us know how it worked for you, because we want to hear it, and so do the people that are also watching this.
Much love.
Thank you guys so much. You know that we love you. We are still looking forward to episode 4 next week. And this has been
Andy
and Maddie.
Bye.
We love you. Bye.